day. Good morning. I'm here with Jennifer Blanke for Davos 2022 for the launch of the ESG Whiteshield report in banking. And Jennifer Blanke, who is the former Chief Economist of the World Economic Forum, former Vice President at the African Development Bank. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, very happy to be here, Anthony.
So Jennifer, I have a question for you on the ESG opportunity in the African continent. With banks and outside of banks, how do you see the possibility for businesses and banks in Africa to catch up with ESG in order to have the wider impact, if you want, on the continent?
To be honest with you, I feel like it's a very natural fit. If you look at the numbers, people will say that, say, African banks or Africa in general is a little bit behind on ESG. But if you look at the fact that there's a lot of basic services and goods that are widely available and produced in other parts of the world, but not yet in Africa, what a huge opportunity to actually start doing these. Don't want to say second mover advantage, but in a way it is, to do these things from a really resilient and sustainable perspective from the get-go. And so I think a huge opportunity for banks also to be looking at funding in a different way, whether it's on the E side or on the S side, the social side, looking at underserved populations. Often we talk about women and financing women. In Africa, it's a huge challenge, like in other parts of the world. But we know that women, business women, are a great investment because not only do they pay back, they actually build great businesses. So, I think it's a huge opportunity to just look at the world differently. And by the way, we call it ESG investment now, we call it ESG way of doing business now. It's just going to be the way of doing business in the future.
Excellent. Now, many banks and businesses, and namely in developing emerging economies, see ESG as more of a constraint or as a cost or something related to regulation. How would you phrase it to them to say, actually, well, no, this is an opportunity, not just a cost in regulation?
Yeah, well, look, we've grown hugely in the world over the last 2 centuries, but many people have been left behind, and we are destroying the planet in the meantime. So it might be seen as a cost, but it's because we haven't been pricing things properly, and we haven't been taking into account that people are not going to wait forever to be included in the economy. So that is the huge opportunity. It's the fact that everybody's going to have to do things differently. We're going to have to be working within the constraints of this planet because we only have one, at least for the moment. And so given that the rules of the game are changing, given that people, consumers, employees want to see banks and other companies doing things differently, it's a huge opportunity and a huge opportunity to invest in new areas that were not even thought of before, and just in new investments, making sure that when you're investing, you're taking those risks into account that are now going to bite. Insurance companies are going to be taking this seriously, regulators are going to be taking this seriously, but it's not just about regulation, it's not about constraints, it's about the opportunities that they are helping to unlock.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thanks, Anthony.